Welcome back to Ye Old David Pakman Show. I am Jesse Dollemore, sitting in for David while he is out vanquishing dum-dums on their podcasts. What I want to talk about is the 2024 campaign for the nominee for the Republican, who's going to be the candidate. And it seems to have been really supercharged this week with Trump's trips to New Hampshire and South Carolina. But there's also been kind of a tit for tat with Donald Trump and the presumed main opponent that he'll face, Ron DeSantis. And we're going to give a little history lesson here, and then we're going to play some modern stuff. But we're going to go current and then back in time and then back to current. Because just the other day on his what they like to call Air Force One, even though it's just his personal plane, Donald Trump was answering questions about Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina, his former UN ambassador, about their possible run for president. And he labeled Ron DeSantis disloyal, and he said, well, I talked to her about it. I told her to follow her heart, but she said she'd never run against her president, Donald Trump. And then he also got this jab in on Ron DeSantis about his mishandling of COVID and when he closed all the beaches, really taking a shot at DeSantis. And I want to remind you of that, and then we'll go back in time a little bit. Watch this.
Nikki Haley called me the other day to talk to me. I talked to her for a little while, but I said, look, go by your heart if you want to run. She's publicly stated I would never run against my president. He was a great president. Florida was actually closed for a very long period of time. Remember, he closed the beaches and everything else. They're trying to rewrite history.
It is fantastic listening to Donald Trump whine about Ron DeSantis trying to rewrite history. These Republican politicians exist in an alternate universe where video cannot be summoned by the internet and watched again. Here's Donald Trump from just a handful of years ago during the COVID crisis being asked by a reporter about Ron DeSantis and his performance during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic. And he is just checking off just an A+ report card for Ron DeSantis. So the guy who he's now criticizing for how he handled COVID just months ago, really, had nothing but praise for the guy.
As many schools and school districts are closing across the country, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has not ruled out opening out schools in May, saying that many kids are not vulnerable to this disease. Do you agree with that assessment? And do you believe that would you recommend that schools open up and to those states that have?
Well, I have a lot of confidence in Ron DeSantis, a lot of faith in Ron DeSantis to make the right decision. He's doing a great job as governor. Ron DeSantis, I had read where he's thinking about opening up the schools earlier than the date, the end of the month. I'd have to look at the numbers.
Got a lot of confidence in Ron DeSantis. Check mark. Got a lot of faith in Ron DeSantis. Check mark. Doing a great job, Ron DeSantis. A+, brother. Well, Ron DeSantis obviously just the other day was asked about this specific thing about Donald Trump taking him to task and criticizing him for COVID. And Ron DeSantis, I'm actually a little shocked about it, his response, because he claps right back. And he does it in a real subtle, underhanded dig at Donald Trump about being a loser in his election. Watch this. It really does open up the possibilities for what the Republican stage will look like during the campaign. Check this out.
Trump has criticized you a number of times in the past couple of days on a number of different issues, one of them being COVID in the state.
What I would just say is this. I roll out of bed. I have people attacking me from all angles. It's been happening for many, many years. And if you look at the good thing about it, though, is like if you take a crisis situation like COVID, the good thing about it is when you're an elected executive, you have to make all kinds of decisions. You got to steer that ship. And the good thing is that the people are able to render a judgment on that, whether they reelect you or not. And I'm happy to say, in my case, not only did we win re-election, we won with the highest percentage of the vote that any Republican governor candidate has in the history of the state of Florida. We won by the largest raw vote margin, over 1.5 million votes, than any governor candidate has ever had in Florida history. And in fact, we almost doubled the previous record, which I think was like 780,000 vote margin. And so what I would just say is that verdict has been rendered by the people of the state of Florida.
That's a dig. That is absolutely a dig. I mean, we'll paraphrase here. It's, look, bro, I won my re-election. What'd the other guy do? That's what he's doing here. Now, listen, I'm one who doesn't believe Ron DeSantis, he's not ready for prime time. Ron DeSantis isn't ready to meet Donald Trump on the stage. I think he will go the way of Lil Marco Rubio and try his best to keep up with Donald Trump. But when the rubber hits the road and when Ron DeSantis has to face the many insults and the slings and the arrows that will be delivered by Donald Trump, he's going to fold like a cheap folding chair. He's not going to have what it takes. He's not as slick. He's not as brutal. He's not going to be able to withstand what Donald Trump brings. I think that's the case for just about every one of these Republicans. You can't play the nice guy after we've fallen this far, after the cruelty has been amped up and ramped up to the level that it has. You're not able to go back and be a John Kasich. You're not able to be a Mitt Romney. You can't even be a Chris Christie, for that matter, and win a Republican nomination for the President of the United States. So we'll see what takes place, but it is nice to see that Ron DeSantis isn't just going to lay down for Donald Trump, that there is going to be a fight, because listen, a fight among them is good for us. When these fascists are spending time, wasting time and energy battling one another, that is time not spent destroying the country.
One of our sponsors today is Blue Chew, a unique online service delivering the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis in a chewable form and at a fraction of the cost. And they're giving my audience an entire month's supply for free. So if you think you could benefit from an extra boost of confidence when it's time, all you have to do is take a short quiz on their website. A licensed doctor approves your prescription. The medication comes straight to your home within days in a discreet package. No driving around to the doctor's office or the pharmacy. No waiting around. No awkward conversations with your doctor. All of Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. The entire process is just a few clicks. Go to BlueChew.com. The link is underneath this video. They'll give you an entire month's supply for free when you use the promo code PACMAN. All you have to do is pay $5 shipping.